Welcome to episode 143 of the Month Podcast, a member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Listen in as we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics. I'm Tina Hadamia.
And I'm Hillary Doherty. Tina! Happy birthday! Girl! I've been running around. I'm this is going to be the most special podcast birthday ever.
I know, it actually comes out on my birthday.
I know, it's so exciting. So we had to
Cheers.
Do it special. So what do you want to do first? Let's blow out a candle. Look, I got a little. Look at that cupcake. It's perfect.
I like the whipped cream.
Do you want me to sing happy birthday to you?
No. Happy birthday to ya.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy. Make a wish. Yay.
1 million downloads. What?
Tina, you're not supposed to say it now. It's not going to come true. God damn it, Tina. Don't you know the wish rule?
If you say it on the podcast.
Oh, I didn't realize there was a loophole to this. All right, I'm going to put it over there so I don't eat it while we're sitting here.
Oh my God.
So happy birthday. Now here's the thing about these gifts. You know, the same thing happened at Christmas time where your shit all came late, and now because of Hurricane Ian and the devastation across Florida, but also the devastation on Tina's birthday presents, because I ordered you a theme of presents, and they were all supposed to be here 2 days ago, and because of the hurricane, nothing showed up, so I had to run out yesterday.
You don't have to get me anything.
Absolutely. So you're getting double presents because you're the best. So here's a couple presents. Open them.
Okay.
Just remember that this is not presents.
No, I believe that these are presents.
No.
Wait, what is this?
So that's some candy. I was thinking about when you're floating.
Yeah, I love chocolate so much. I have chocolate, I have a piece of chocolate every day.
Yeah?
I love chocolate.
Good.
Oh, what is this? It's so cute.
I know. These are all stupid fucking things.
I'm
very upset. I'm very upset.
No.
But I feel like it's now a theme on the show where presents for Tina are just late.
Oh, hey.
It's a little pack of gum, but it's sassy.
Yes, bitch, I am the secret ingredient.
That's right.
They're so cute. I'm loving all of this. This is
this I thought we could use on the show today, for fun, since it's a fun party podcast episode.
Oh, yes. This is a sound machine.
Your kids are gonna love this.
We need to use this every week on the pod.
I'm telling you.
I'm opening it.
Open it. Show the camera the fun sound machine. We can make all these sounds.
Oh, we have to unscrew it.
No.
The fart sound is the best sound. Excuse me.
Who says we can't have sound effects on this podcast?
God. Wait.
Fuck you.
This is our new favorite thing. Yes, this is our new favorite thing.
Here was my son's favorite.
Oh,
wait, maybe I should do it this way.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, it's good, right?
Hey.
But yeah, this was my favorite.
I'm opening this next one. I like the wrapping paper.
Thank you.
Oh.
This is for fun, too.
All
for fun.
Yes! And this is so true.
Yeah. She is a tiny motherfucker.
OCD. Yeah. Every day there's something on a to-do list that my whole family thinks I'm nuts. But this speaks to me.
Yeah.
I love this.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
You don't have to get me anything
else.
Oh,
God, I'm so depressed.
Putting this in the house.
God damn it, with this hurricane.
What? Oh, yeah. I know,
it's very sad. Listen.
What?
This is the last one, but I swear there's a great theme coming, and I just, oh God.
This is so amazing.
I know you love those tote bags, bitch.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Supreme!
Yes! Oh.
Happy birthday, Tina.
Life was better.
I know.
And life was better.
So, we're celebrating, of course, the Saturday before your birthday.
Yes.
But
this
comes out on your birthday, and then 2 days later we're gonna have a party after. We are getting this amazing award. Sabrina Javiana, who we love dearly.
Yes.
She's been a guest on the podcast.
She's
a commissioner in Hallandale Beach. She's an incredible community leader. She's part of the Ruthless Broward Board. She sent us an email last week and she said, we are honoring the Muck podcast and you and Tina as community leaders at our Ruthless event. Women to Watch is called the Ruthless Event's Women to Watch, and we're Women to Watch.
Hi there.
Hi. And so we're going to that on October 7th. And then afterwards, I'm like, let's all go sing karaoke for Tina's birthday. And
I have 2 songs, I think. I know I have 1 song for sure that I'm singing.
Well, I was thinking of songs. I'm like, this is a song that Tina loves, so I'll sing it. Like, all my songs are based on what Tina likes.
Oh, my God.
So that's going to be amazing.
It'll be fun.
Oh, you are not only are you a woman to watch, you're a woman to celebrate.
Oh, please.
Oh, no, of course. So those are I have a couple other things, but those were the 2 main things I wanted to talk about. How amazing we are as community leaders.
I know.
And then also Tina's birthday.
I'm so like honored that they would even think of me. I feel like
forget about
there's so many, I don't know. I'm not worthy.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And also we need to discuss before then what we're going to say, because we're probably going to have to say a couple of words. So we're going to figure that out.
That'll be fun.
Of course, Alfredo has offered, as our executive producer, to get up and accept the award for us. So,
my God.
Like a true man.
We need to
take up that space.
We need to give a shout out to
we do. Of course we do. So also I wanted to mention that yesterday, September 30th, was the last day in office for my beloved man, Representative Ted Deutsch.
I mean, that's wild.
It is crazy. And I was watching everything he was doing yesterday. He had like Instagram live videos. He was at the White House. President Biden from the podium thanked him for his service when he was standing there. I mean, 12 years in office representing this area in South Florida. We have been very lucky.
We have been lucky to have him. And I know that whoever fills those shoes hopefully will be, as thoughtful to our area as Deutsch was.
Yeah. He was incredible. And I read a whole article.
So outspoken. And
in the Sun Sentinel about his losses and like the things that happened. Like the biggest thing that happened, the biggest event that happened while he was in office was the shooting in Marjorie Stoneman Douglas in Parkland, where he represents that area. And that became like a cause for him. And then of course last year he lost his nephew Eli, and so fentanyl, getting those fentanyl strips into the hands of college students and high school students who order these drugs online thinking it's going to be a drug that helps them stay up all night to study, and it's laced with fentanyl, like a deadly dose of fentanyl.
And some of them, so did you see the latest thing with this fentanyl is the candy?
It looks like children's candy. It looks like
candy, and it's brightly colored, and it's tiny, and I showed it to my kids. Yeah. And I was like, listen, this is not candy. Do not believe what people tell you. And even if you don't know how much is on it, that if you touch it on your hand, you could OD. Right. It's frightening.
It's really scary.
It's frightening.
It's an important issue, and we need to. I know in Florida they've been trying to get it passed. Of course, Chip LaMarca voted against that, and 2 days later,
what an idiot.
2 or 3 days later after he voted,
I don't get it.
No, 2 or 3 days later after he voted against it, somebody, 2 teenagers or college students who were here visiting, staying in an Airbnb in Wilton Manors, overdosed on fentanyl.
Oh yeah, remember that? Yeah. And then the paramedics went to do like CPR, and then they got impacted by it. Like it's not a joke, and for all the pro-lifers out there. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna vote against this because they're in bed with a big pharma. It's stupid. It's so stupid. They're so transparent. Yeah.
So anyway, thank you to Ted Deutsch. I was saying, Tina, you were talking about Lil Muck guests, and I was like, it'd really, really great to have Ted Deutsch come in here and talk about. One of the things he also, he views as a failure is that the CIA agent who I covered on the podcast that went missing, who was a resident. Yes. Same thing where he couldn't get him back, but damn.
I mean, what?
I know.
Those situations are hard.
Yeah. So the other thing I have is just the Hurricane Ian, which was absolutely fucking devastating to Florida. It came across
Fort Myers,
the West Coast. Yeah, my in-laws live over there.
Those images are terrible.
Yeah, I have family that lives on that side of the coast, and thank God they're all okay. But my in-laws are not there, and so we don't know what has happened to their house yet. And my my ex-in-laws, my ex-brother-in-law. Anyway, he tried to go look at the house, and the roads are closed. He can't even get in there.
Wow.
So we don't know what has happened to their house, but
God.
people are missing. People are, you know what I mean? People on the Sanibel Islands.
People didn't evacuate.
Yeah, and then people are also on islands that are out there. I think Sanibel, but there's another island that's out there where the roads are now gone. Yeah. The road that connected the mainland of Florida to these islands are now gone. And they're like, now we're going to figure out what it's like to live on an island. Like, they are cut off from the world because they didn't evacuate, which that blows my mind. It blows my mind. And at least the island part. Like, I know that we're like, we're not going to evacuate. We're going to sit still because we're from Florida. We know what it's like. We know what we can handle, right?
But I think some of those areas like, didn't realize that it was going to, and that's the thing.
But if you're on an island?
Yeah. I don't know. I know people who are on the coast, like, beach side. Yeah. And they don't evacuate during hurricanes. Yeah. They just don't. I think it's a Florida thing.
And I think also if you've been through storms in that wherever you're living,
or you feel like your building can handle it,
and the storm size, like all those things come into as a factor. For me, if I was living on a fucking island. I mean, you really think that a highway is not going to be washed away? I mean, it's fucked.
That would be like the road to the Keys being gone.
Exactly. And now,
can you imagine
how long does that take to rebuild that?
Oh, God.
I mean, please. That's what I'm thinking. Like, how long until these people, unless they take a boat right off the island?
They're going to have to take a boat, but all the boats are destroyed. So.
No, that's another thing. God bless, all right? I know it's been a while since we've been very lucky, knocking on all this wood. We've been fucking lucky for like...
Really, since...
14 years? Something like that? Well, because storms have come across.
Wilma did damage, Irma, but Andrew was like the last really catastrophic one, and this feels like a catastrophic one like that.
It does. But do people not understand to get your boats out of the water? Like, how did everybody...
Well, I don't know.
You have to get the boats out of the water, even if it's a Category 1.
Yeah.
And there were so many boats washed up. It made no sense to me. I thought, how could people not, unless they don't live here and they're not here right now?
Yeah, who knows? And then if it's a marina, like, where do you put all those boats?
Yeah, but you got to get it out. You got to get it out, put it on a trailer, and get it out of the water.
Yeah. And then did you see the footage from Fort Myers of the sharks
in
the street?
Yes.
Like, sharks in the street.
Yes. Yeah.
And the other images that were just... like frightening, where I was like, oh my God, this is going to be very bad. It's the water like that was so sucked out that it was dry underneath in the bay, and I was like,
because the wind pulled it out.
And that's just a wall that's
coming back.
God,
it is insane. It really is,
and it just we got so lucky.
We got very lucky. Josh, our friend Josh, who lives in Orlando, they were batting down the hatches. He sent me a very inappropriate tweet during it. He's like, look at this new. Look at this update to the storm, and it was a link, and I clicked it, and it was a naked man, and I was like, that's not appropriate. And I was like, what the fuck? He's like, oh, it was a joke, and I'm like, no, I get it, but like, a hurricane's about to hit you, bro. Like, can we get serious? Take it seriously.
I kind of like that.
It was funny, but his house is okay, but his office got a little flooded, so I don't know. Everybody's across the state.
Just the cars.
Oh my God!
Like, people lost their cars.
Can you imagine watching your car float away?
Like, and I mean, I was watching people getting rescued in chest-high water.
No, it's
so their whole house. And I was thinking, like, for me, like the way that you have your insurance on your house, I think I have like the insurance, like if my washer machine breaks or something. But I don't know if I have the flood insurance if water comes in from the outside. And if you don't have that flood insurance, like, all that stuff that you lost, like, it's gone.
Yeah. Because I don't have flood insurance because I'm not in the flood zone.
Because I'm not either, so I don't have it either. But I'm like, something like that, like, would water have come in our house?
Listen, my house is up off the ground. Yeah. You have to go up 3 steps to get into my house.
Yeah.
I'm about 4 feet off the ground. So were my in-laws. And their neighbors had 6 inches of water in their house. So we're talking about a good 4 feet of water that came through that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And possibly went into their house. We don't know yet. But, like, that's the kind of storm water that would be rushing in.
What is their sea... That's the other thing. What is their sea level like? I know for us, we're 12... I think we're 12 feet.
Yeah, I don't know. They're about as far away from the beach in Fort Myers as I am from the beach here, which is 1.5 miles.
It's close. It's too close for comfort.
And it's the never-ending bands of rain. Like, that footage of the water, just the band is whipping. It is incredible, and it's humbling as fuck.
Yeah.
It is so humbling to see that Mother Nature's, like, in control all the time.
Yeah.
We have no control. Also, this is not funny, and I don't mean it as a joke, but the guy who co-sponsored the Don't Say Gay bill last year, his house was completely destroyed in the hurricane in Fort Myers.
Sucks.
Yeah.
So, those, I mean, right, don't they believe in acts of God?
Oh, damn, one of our decorations just fell off. Fuck.
Oh,
there
that's funny. So,
birthday over.
Birthday's done.
Yeah.
The bands are crazy because I went running on one of the days, you know, and I was like, I'm just going to go for a run.
It comes out of nowhere.
And like the wind gusts like just come out of nowhere. Yeah. And then some guy was walking in the neighborhood. He's like, watch out for the coconuts. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh my God, am I going to get hit by a coconut? So I'm running. But you can see the rain come in.
Oh,
like,
yeah. My God.
You see the band come in and all
crazy.
of a sudden you're in a downpour in like 3 seconds. But you see it coming towards you. And I'm trying to outrun it.
Yeah. It does come like that. It comes really fast.
It's
and
wild.
really,
and then it's gone.
And then it's gone.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, let me get this party started. Although I feel like it's already even started. Okay, I am going to cover the Dinorah Smog.
Never heard of this.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. So, 1948, Daenora Smog killed 20 people and caused respiratory problems for 6,000 of the 14,000 people living in Donora, Pennsylvania, a mill town on the Monongahela. No, hold on, I put it.
It's the Monongahela.
Monongahela.
Yeah. Thank
you. I even put it out. Say it again.
The Monongahela.
Monongahela River, 24 miles southeast of
the Berg.
Pittsburgh, baby.
Oh,
See, can you believe I picked this story specifically for Tina's because of her birthday? Hi. 60 years later, the incident was described by the New York Times as one of the worst air pollution disasters in the nation's history.
Wow.
And even 10 years after the incident, mortality rates in Donora were significantly higher than those in other communities nearby. So people were still suffering. The fog started up in Donora on Wednesday, October 27th, 1948. By the following day, it was causing coughing and other signs of respiratory distress for many residents of the community in the
Monongahela
River Valley. Many of the illnesses and deaths were initially attributed to asthma, which is ridiculous. Could you imagine everybody in town suddenly has asthma? Like, that doesn't make sense at all. The smog continued until it rained on Sunday, October 31st, by which time 20 residents of Donora had died, and approximately 1/3 to 1/2 of the town's population of 14,000 residents had been sickened.
Wow.
Another 50 residents died of respiratory causes within a month after the incident. Hydrogen fluoride and sulfur dioxide emissions from the U.S. Steel's Donora Zinc Works and its American Steel and Wire plant were frequent occurrences in Donora.
No.
So what made the 1948 event more severe was a temperature inversion, a situation in which warmer air aloft traps pollution in a layer of colder air near the surface, right? So it was like this combination of the pollutants coming out of the factories and this weather that rolled in.
And then it
trapped everything in there. It caused this fog, but it wasn't just like mist. It was pollutants that people were walking around and breathing.
And children and babies.
Oh my God. Too. The pollutants in the air mixed with fog to form a thick, yellowish, pungent smog that hung over Donora for 5 days.
Oh my God.
The sulfuric acid, nitrogen dioxide, fluorine, and other poisonous gases that usually dispersed into the atmosphere, gross, were caught in the inversion and accumulated until rain ended the weather pattern.
Oh God, and it's sulfuric, so it's got that rotten egg smell.
Yes, it's stinky.
God.
2 of the heroes to emerge during the 4-day smog were Chief John Volk of the Donora Fire Department and his assistant Russell Davis. Volk and Davis responded to calls from Friday night, the 29th, until Sunday night, the 31st, depleting their supply of 800 cubic feet of oxygen, borrowing more from all nearby municipalities, and Volk said, quote, "I didn't take any myself. What I did every time I came back to the station was have a little shot of whiskey," end quote. The 8 doctors in the town who belonged to the Donora Medical Association made house calls, much like the firefighters during the period of intense smog, often visiting the houses of patients who were treated by the other doctors in town. This was a result of patients calling every doctor in town in the hope of getting treatment faster. Wow. It was not until midday Saturday the 30th that Mrs. Cora Vernon, executive director of the American Red Cross, had it set up so that all calls going to the doctor's offices would be switched to the emergency center being established in the town hall. The smog was so intense that driving was nearly abandoned. Those who chose to continue driving took risks. The assistant fire department chief Davis said, quote, "I drove on the left side of the street with my head out the window, steering by scraping against the curb." So he made sure his truck was all the way against the curb, so he knew he was...
Wow!
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Because you couldn't see.
That's like, this is not just, I mean...
Yeah.
This is like a thick...
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was not until Sunday morning, the 31st, that a meeting occurred between the operators of the plants and the town officials. 5 days later, August Z. Champon, the Burgess or mayor of Donora, requested the plants temporarily cease operations.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. The superintendent of the plants, L.J. Westhaver, said the plants had already begun shutting down at 6 a.m. that morning. It's too late. It's too late, right?
Yeah.
With the rain alleviating the smog, the plants resumed normal operation that following morning. Researchers analyzing the event have focused likely blame on pollutants from the zinc plant, whose emissions had killed almost all the vegetation within a half-mile radius of the plant. So this had already been going on. There's pictures of that in my notes, which it looks like...
Wait a minute.
It looks like they've been burned.
Wait a minute. But so that means like...
It's in the water, right?
Yeah, like, and even without this crazy smog, like they're somehow going to feel the impact.
Of course. Oh. And all the people who live there like worked at the plants.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's all like and it's
jobs.
probably like to like a blue collar.
Of course, this is how they
labor.
Yeah, it's how they keep the town going.
Oh
Dr. Deborah L. Davis, director of the Center for Environmental Oncology at the University of Pittsburgh Cancer Institute, has pointed to autopsy results showing fluorine levels in victims in the lethal range as much as 20 times higher than normal.
Oh.
Fluorine gas generated in the zinc smelting process became trapped by the stagnant air and was the primary cause of the death.
Jesus.
Further research was conducted by Mary Amder about the effects of the smog, and she was pressured to withdraw publications of the results, but refused.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
And who's putting that pressure?
Yeah, the people who own that plant.
And it's U.S. Steel?
Yeah. Hello.
Okay.
Preliminary results of a study performed by Dr. Clarence A. Mills of the University of Cincinnati and released in December 1948 showed that thousands more Donora residents could have been killed if the smog had lasted any longer than it had. And it really only stopped because of the rain. Like, if it hadn't rained that Sunday, you know, how much longer would this have gone on where they had kept those chemicals pumping out? Lawsuits were filed against U.S. Steel, which never acknowledged responsibility for the incident, calling it, quote, an act of God.
Oh.
Did God make that plant?
Yeah, God made the plant.
I mean, what?
God made the
I think they mean the weather.
Yeah,
like
give
the
me
weather.
A break. Give me a break. But shouldn't they, as engineers or something, think about the impact of emissions and how it works with the weather?
Right. The wind moving, how the wind goes. I mean,
and then once they saw, I'm sure there has to be some indicator that something is going awry, and they could have shut down 5 days earlier.
Right.
And maybe it wouldn't have been as horrific.
Right. So while the steel company did not accept blame, it reached a settlement in 1951 in which it paid about $235,000, which was stretched over the 80 victims who had participated in the lawsuit, leaving them little after legal expenses were factored in.
Wow.
There's another lawsuit, though. So Representatives of American Steel and Wire, it was two plants, right? Representatives of American Steel and Wire settled the more than $4.6 million claim in 130 damage suits at about 5% of what had been sought, noting that the company was prepared to show at trial that the smog had been caused by a freak weather condition that trapped over Donora. Quote, all of the smog came from the homes, railroads, the steamboats, and the exhaust from automobiles, as well as the effluents from its plants.
Oh, okay. Wow. They're like, we're not paying. We're not paying.
If a real like fog rolled in here right now, the emissions from our cars wouldn't kill everybody.
No.
Like, come on, dude. U.S. Steel closed both the plants in 1966. By 1949, a year after the disaster, the total value of the predominantly residential property in Dinorah had declined by nearly 10%. So now people are dipping out. The Daenora Smog was one of the instances where Americans recognized that exposure to large amounts of pollution in a short period of time can result in injuries and fatalities. The event is often credited for helping to trigger the clean air movement in the United States, which crowning achievement was the Clean Air Act of 1963, which required the United States Environmental Protection Agency to develop and enforce regulations to protect the general public from exposure to hazardous airborne contaminants. The incident was little spoken of in Donora until a historical marker was placed in the town in 1998 to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the incident, and the 60th anniversary in 2008 was commemorated with memorials for the families of the victims and other educational programs.
And have they, because that happened in it was like the late 40s, right? So did they see, like, the people who didn't die immediately, like, did any of them die of cancer or get, you know what I mean? Like, what were their health issues, like, 20 years down the road?
No, nothing like that.
And, like, the kids that were in that town, like, did they have breathing problems, lung problems?
No.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's a good question.
I bet you that there has to be something. It's
kind of like if you have gas in your house, you know what I mean? You can have what's it called? The dioxide.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have the meter that tells you if something's leaking.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, where it's like an immediate. The Daenora Smog Museum was opened on October 20th, 2008, located in an old storefront on 595 McKean Avenue near 6th Street with the slogan, quote, "Clean air started here." Fewer than 6,000 people still live in Donora. So the town's like, you know.
Wow.
So how I found the story is watching The Crown. Because they talk about, so there's this smog, as they call it, the Great Smog of London. It was a lethal smog that covered the city of London for 5 days from December 5th to the 9th in 1952, caused by a combination of industrial pollution and high-pressured weather conditions. So the same exact thing happens 4 years later in London. And in the show, they're trying to tell Churchill, like, we have to shut down these plants. We have to do. I mean, their fog lasted. Same thing. People were dying, couldn't see. People were dying from getting hit by cars in the streets. And they're like, "Have you heard of the Dinorah Smog?" That's what they said to Churchill, and I'm like, in Pennsylvania, and I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" And that's how I found this story.
Oh, nice.
So the combination in London, the combination of smoke and fog brought the city to a near standstill and resulted in thousands of deaths. Oh, its consequences prompted the passing of the Clean Air Act 4 years later, which marked a turning point in the history of that country's environmentalism. So that's it. That's a Dinorah Smog. It led to this amazing Clean Air Act,
which people try to chip away at too, with emissions and
of course.
Because even
remember we used to have to test our car for emissions here?
I was just gonna say that we used to have to test our car. You have to wait in that line.
Yeah, every time it was your birthday, you had to go get that car tested.
And you'd wait in that line. But now you see cars going down the road, and you're like, "What is going on?"
Yes. Did you see this this balloon that says "It's a girl"?
I love it.
I was with my daughter, and I'm like, "This one's funny."
I love the llama.
There's a llama one.
It's so cute.
That's a nod to Emma and her llama. That's going to be the next governor of Florida.
Oh, please! I would love that. Actually.
All right, girl.
All right.
Wait. I'm sorry. Hold on. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
I love it.
Now it's time for Tina's story.
Okay. Well,
I think the sound machine's the new third hook. Oh no! It's a downer? God damn it, Tina, it's your birthday.
It's a downer for my birthday. I mean, what more fitting than to have a downer?
Oh God, you're right.
It's very Tina. It's very Tina. All right. So,
that's the name of the episode, Classic Tina. Just remember that I said that. Okay. I'm not writing it down.
Woo. Okay. All right, today.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you the story of former Idaho State Representative Aaron von Eilinger. So this is a relatively recent-ish story.
Okay.
All right, so our story takes place in Lewiston, Idaho, and...
This name sounds familiar.
It's known as a predominantly LDS community, and I want to give a bit of background on von Eilinger that I got from his Idaho legislative page. So basically, he served in the U.S. Army, in the infantry, and served in Afghanistan in 2001 and 2002. A Boise NPR article noted that he felt that serving in the Army was, quote, thankless, and, quote, sometimes guys have some issues that they need to deal with, and that was the case for me. So he was impacted by what happened there. He attended the University of Alabama. He graduated magna cum laude. I did too.
Oh,
I graduated.
Good for you.
And he graduated with a degree in poli-sci. in history.
Yes.
Prior to serving in political office, he also worked in real estate. So he was a lifelong Republican. His early political work included being a Republican precinct committeeman for Pierce County. And of course, he was a member of the NRA. No surprise. And in June 2020, the governor appointed von Eilinger to the House of Representatives for District 6, Seat A, to fill a vacancy because the seat was open, and so they appointed him. And later that November, he had to run for the seat, and he won in an uncontested race, and he maintained the seat. So before I get to the major incident, I found an article from George Prentice of Boise State Public Radio, who noted that von Eilinger had some convictions in the past prior to be appointed to that seat. And what I found most interesting about the article is that the state pardoned him for these convictions. And I wonder, I mean, obviously it wasn't an issue to the governor. I don't know if the governor knew about these things beforehand, but, and they weren't major convictions. They weren't nothing too horrible. So according to Prentice, von Eilinger found himself in trouble on 8 different occasions.
What?
From 1996 to 2013. So, and it culminated in about 15 offenses, which, and out of those, but he pled guilty to 5. So it just kind of shows a pattern of, it wasn't he had one incident, it's over several years. Some of the charges were minor, like I said, driving without a license in 1996 when he was just 14 years old. And after serving in the Army, he had 12 different charges between 2009 and 13, which included drunk driving, carrying a concealed weapon while intoxicated, and the weapon was a semi-automatic handgun.
Jesus.
And he was also charged with giving alcohol to minors. So it's just again, not weird. I feel like giving the alcohol to minors thing is weird. Unless I don't know the circumstances. A lack of judgment. Good judgment. I remember, standing outside of 7-Eleven.
Oh no, Tina.
Being like, hey, can you go get some Boone's Farm? You know what I mean? Hook us up, and someone would go in and buy us the Boone's Farm. So was it something like that? Or what?
Tina. What a
it's
life.
It's my birthday.
Yeah. All right, sorry, you're right. That's a good thing. We're good. Hold on.
Okay.
Some of those go on a little longer than you'd expect.
I know.
Sorry.
So now I know people can change, right? And prior convictions shouldn't tarnish someone's entire life, but to me, it just shows a pattern of reckless behavior.
Yeah, 8 times being involved with police is a lot.
It's a lot. It's
for
a
lifetime.
And then 15 offenses out of those 8 times. It's a lot. It's a lot. Minor as though they are, right? It's just it's curious. So in 2019, he wrote a letter to be pardoned for his past convictions. In the letter, he claimed to have found God and that he gave money to the homeless. And in January 2021, after winning that November 2020 election, they pardoned him.
For all of those things?
They pardoned him. So his criminal history wasn't wiped away, but he was pardoned for all those charges. So it was he's elected now. Maybe they want to get, you know what I mean? Whatever.
I guess, but...
So then in March of 2021... So January 2021, he wins. They wipe those charges, and 2 months later, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. And this is the major incident.
Okay.
So according to several reports, including a KTVB7 article by Katie Terhune, in 2021, a 19-year-old legislative intern accused von Eilinger of rape. The intern...
Hold on.
The intern, who has been referred to as Jane Doe to protect her privacy, went to dinner with von Eilinger, and afterwards he was supposed to drive her back to her car. But instead, he drove her back to his place, claiming that he needed to pick something up.
Ugh.
Then once there, he picked her up, carried her into the bedroom, and then removed her clothing and assaulted her.
What? Raped?
Yeah. And she says he also forced her to perform oral sex. And she also claimed to have hit her head during that because he was so rough with her.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And a nurse later testified to that. She also stated he penetrated her with his fingers without her consent. And she explained that she was afraid that he would become more violent if she put up more of a fight. And she noted that the grip on her head was painful and she was scared. And she testified, quote, I have never felt more ashamed, belittled, powerless, and dehumanized. I will never forget the strength and force of his grip. The prosecuting attorney also stated that Jane Doe, quote, tried to resist. She tried to make excuses, including telling von Eilinger she wasn't on birth control, they could get in trouble, she wasn't ready, and that he was hurting her.
Oh,
can you imagine? My God. This 19-year-old's like, I just want to help out or be in politics or be involved, and this jerk.
Keep your kids away from fucking politics. I'm sorry.
I mean, this
I'm sorry.
Monster.
These motherfuckers think they can do whatever they want.
He's in office, like he's barely in office. And then I think back to like giving them alcohol's minor. Like, were they girls? Like, what was the story behind that incident?
Yeah, good question.
Who knows?
This if this story doesn't end with him going to fucking jail, I'm gonna lose my mind. Tina.
So Jane Doe also noted that he had a gun on him.
Oh my God!
And he had placed the gun on the dresser.
Of course.
So now she's intimidated because there's a gun sitting there, which probably added to her terror in that moment. Like, what do you do, right? What do you do? You're already scared. He's already being violent. He's already being forceful. Like, what is someone supposed to do?
Oh my God.
So von Eilinger, of course, he denied all allegations.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
Yeah. And he claimed...
fucking upstanding fucking citizen over here.
Right. He claimed that it was consensual.
Oh, I'm sure. A 19-year-old loves to be treated like that during sex. Yeah. You fucking creep. Oh, you fucking piece of shit.
And this poor girl. So, and did he step down from office?
Stop it.
Of course not.
Are you kidding me?
He did not. So this is when he did step down. So he denies, he's like refusing to step down because, you know, like the Matt Gaetz of the world
yeah, he's still there.
He's still there.
Nancy Pelosi.
With no ramifications.
Every time she does a press conference.
Because
she should say something about him.
Because these it's hard to prove these allegations, you know, like, and with these women, and it's terrible what victims have to go through to try to prove their case.
Yeah.
And this...
I just shared a video yesterday. Sarah Silverman shared this TikTok. I saw it. I shared it because it happened in Duval County, Florida. This woman was raped and had the semen was all over her body when she went to the hospital. She was covered in bruises. They're not pressing charges. The fuck do we have to do? What do we have to do?
I don't get it.
And then in a few months, abortion's going to be illegal here.
And then what? I can't.
She won't even be able to get a fucking morning after pill when that happens. Like when she goes to the hospital, they won't give her anything for that. That's what's going to happen.
And then here we go back to the situation of them people ordering things online.
Yeah.
And you have to trust that the site you're ordering from is legitimate.
And she's re-traumatized. She's re-traumatized over and over again, having to tell the police, the doctors, the fucking court, the prosecutors, the same story over and over and
all
over
these
again.
People to judge her, and they get to decide. They get to decide what happened to her.
Yeah. Oh, it's not enough evidence.
What the story was.
It's not enough evidence.
So he doesn't step down. However, the article noted that an ethics committee found von Eilinger's behavior, quote, unbecoming, and they intended on removing him, but he resigned before they could vote. So basically, like, he doesn't want it on record that he's voted out. Right. So he's not resigning because he has any remorse for what he's done. He's resigning because he is a proud, arrogant man who doesn't want them to vote him out. And he's like, I'll just resign instead. Like, it's so gross.
Later on, he can say, well, I was never voted out of office. I left on my own, blah, blah, blah.
That's all speculation.
So he can run his own story. So he can spin his story the way he wants to he's the fucking victim.
Right. So Alex Breezy of the Idaho Statesman reported that 3 other women came forward to the ethics committee to say that he was a bit of a creeper. So woman 1 was a lobbyist. She alleged that von Eilinger followed her into a bathroom. Like, she was going to the bathroom and he followed her in there to like hit on her, which made her very uncomfortable, and she reported it. Woman 2 was a married journal clerk who alleged that von Eilinger wanted to take her out on a date, even though he knew she was married, and that made her uncomfortable as well. Woman 3 was a security guard who hooked up with him, though another article from UPI noted that this was an unwanted encounter, like maybe that she felt like, she had to do this kind of thing. And as the articles noted, and as we've talked about on this podcast before, he's in a position of power over these women just by having the elected office that he has. And he's using that power differential to try and manipulate these women. And like, you can't do that. And KXLY reported that von Eilinger allegedly was told by his colleagues, because they had now heard these stories, he's only been there a few months, to basically stop trying to pick up women in the state house. And this was before the rape allegations. So, like, you know, he's got this reputation already.
It's the same thing we've always heard. Don't go near this guy. Instead of actually doing something about his behavior and saying, you know, one strike, you're out. They just warned the women.
Well, and they warned him. They were like, "You stop trying to pick up women." And you're not picking up women. It's stop harassing women.
You're a fucking creep.
That's sexual harassment. And I'm sure there's something on the books that says that this behavior that's a fireable offense.
Yeah. Well, you would hope so.
Yeah.
You would hope so.
All right. So he is charged with 1 count of rape, and he's charged with forcible penetration with a foreign object.
Jesus Christ.
So along with the rape charges, he also faced fugitive from justice charges because he was fleeing. So he says he wasn't fleeing. So allegedly, according to U.S. News, when he returned from a trip, he flew into Georgia, and he was held on that fugitive charge without bond until they could extradite him back to Idaho.
That's how I know the story.
But basically, he says, like, I was never fleeing. I had a vacation already, like, it was prior set up, and I wasn't going to miss this vacation. And so he went on the vacation out of the country, came back in, and then he faced his charges, like,
here's what's so fucking unbelievable to me, okay? Let me just say this real quick. You're accused and charged
with rape.
Mm-hmm. And you don't want to ruin your vacation.
Yeah.
You don't want to move your vacation date.
Yeah.
That's how not only arrogant, he thinks he's going to get away with this whole fucking thing. He's going to go on vacation as if nothing is going on. And
nothing's going to happen. Then he gets held in Georgia.
Meanwhile, this woman, this 19-year-old
this girl
has been suffering. Has suffered and will suffer for the rest of her life with these fucking nightmares.
Right.
Because of him. But God forbid you miss your vacation. You fucking prick.
It's wild.
What do we do about guys like this?
I don't know.
It's not enough. Jail's not enough.
I don't know. I don't know what you do.
They gotta, you know what? There's gotta be something we can write on their foreheads like rapist. Like a tattoo.
Yeah, they're
a tattoo somewhere that everybody can see
now we're
that
going
women
back to
know.
Puritan branding times.
Women know what you are.
So be careful, yeah.
Yeah.
So according to Alex Breezy of the Idaho Statesman, Judge Michael Reardon sentenced von Eilinger to 20 years.
Oh, God.
With 8 of those years being fixed, which means he cannot be eligible for parole until at least 2030.
Okay.
So the Idaho Capital Sun's Kelsey Mosley Morris also reported that von Eilinger will have to register as a sex offender when he leaves prison, and he has to pay $2,015 in restitution along with other court costs. During the sentencing phase, they played a victim impact statement from Jane Doe, where she stated, quote, "How can I recount the terror my body was going through that evening? Have you ever tasted blood from biting the inside of your lips because you couldn't say no loud enough? Have you ever felt buried alive in your own flesh, that your screams stayed trapped on the tip of your tongue?" She continued, "But I will not be intimidated into complacent silence so that another rapist can slip through the cracks of this justice system."
Oh my God. This girl.
This poor girl.
What a brave fucking person. A brave human being.
So Eilinger, of course, gave his statement, and the New York Times reported that, and this is during the sentencing hearing, he stated, quote, "I confessed a lot of sins, Your Honor. I am not a perfect man, but rape was not a sin that I could confess to. It would be a sin to confess to something I did not commit."
He wouldn't know a sin if it came up and slapped him in the motherfucking face.
Can you imagine this?
Because I think they convince themselves that that's the truth. Yeah, they convince themselves that
they're into it.
They want
they're into it. Yeah. Judge Reardon didn't see any empathy coming from von Eilinger and had this to say, according to Mosley Morris, quote, "As I listened to you today, I wrote down 2 words, victim and hero. That you see yourself as a victim and you see yourself as a hero. And frankly, I don't see you as either one of those things.
Woo!
You created your own circumstances that put you here today." And then he said, you have a pattern of explaining, excusing, deflecting, blaming others for situations you find yourself in. So he's
Absolutely.
like, I don't have time for you.
No.
I see right through you. So thank God this judge is like, no. And I love that because you know how these sentences go. You could get 20 years, but then someone is out in 5 years or 4 years or who knows, or sometimes they'll get a 3-year sentence and they're out in 15 days.
Oh, so I love this.
Yeah, he put that fixed date in there. So at least like 8 years, you're not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
For sure. And then you got to go up for appeal. So
good.
You know.
Good. I love this.
So as of Friday, September 23rd of this year, von Eilinger has filed an appeal to the Idaho Supreme Court. Idaho News 2 reported that von Eilinger's attorney put forth several reasons for the appeal, including not calling a mistrial after the complaining witness, which is the victim,
the rape victim,
left the stand abruptly. So what happened was she was on the stand and she got so overwhelmed emotionally that she couldn't. And she left abruptly because it was like very emotional.
Of course.
And they're like, oh, it should have been a mistrial. Yeah.
Well, these lawyers, they really
try to
really
find
earn their fucking dollars, don't they? These motherfuckers.
And KTVB reported that the court shouldn't have allowed the nurse to comment on the alleged victim's state of mind. So the nurse was called up, and the nurse talked about the trauma to her head, and I guess the way that she maybe spoke about what the victim said to her. I don't know if it was hearsay or, you know what I mean? Like, and they said like that shouldn't have been admissible. Whatever. I don't care.
I mean, it's not hearsay if she said it directly to her. You know? But maybe commenting on her emotional state when she's not, maybe that. But still, she's somebody who's witnessing what is going on. Yes. She's saying, this is what I saw.
So some points of interest. Von Eilinger has requested a public defender. So the money ran out.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck anymore.
He claims he hasn't been able to earn money while in custody. He should have thought of that before he raped somebody. But, 26 people wrote letters on his behalf.
Yeah, well, listen,
how he's a good man and he's a good role model for their sons.
Yeah,
this guy's a good role model for your sons.
These white dudes, I've had it with white men this week. These white dudes have really got themselves worked up that they really think, because of the way the world is changing and progressing, it's called progress. There was going to be a matter of time before you've lost all your power.
Yeah.
White dudes, you've had a good run.
They
a lot of shitty, awful things have happened under your watch, but it's over, and some of these guys can't fucking handle it.
They can't take it.
And
now they think they're persecuted.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so...
and keep an eye out.
They can't see the irony of it.
Yeah.
They can't see it. They can't see it.
And it's so funny, because you can tell the difference between the white dudes who get it and the white dudes who don't. Like, it's almost immediate, like saying, hello, how are you, nice to meet you. You immediately know. I can tell.
Oh, I can tell too.
If they're fucking Coolio with rest in peace, Coolio.
Coolio.
Hold on, sorry.
Oh my.
It's a real sin.
I was sad.
I was sad too. But you can tell if the Gangsta Paradise.
Oh.
You can tell if dudes are like...
Now it's going to be in my head.
Yeah,
sorry.
Well, that's how it goes. But you can tell if a dude's like on the up and up and progressive or if they're not.
Yeah.
You can
hear it in the tone of their voice.
Yeah, I was listening to this podcast. I gotta tell you, I am out of my fucking mind.
Same.
And it's so funny because when you talk about podcasting, it really is the ability for someone to sit in front of a microphone and spew utter fucking horseshit.
Right.
I mean, for example...
But there's people who love it.
There's people who love it.
But and then there's people who, like me or you and others who listen to it and go, oh, God, this is a...
I don't know...
He's a dude, bro, dude.
Yeah, and I just don't know how many people actually love it, because here's the thing. We went to PodFest 2020. There was 1 million podcasts on Apple.
Yes.
During the pandemic, it jumped to 2 million podcasts on Apple. About a quarter of them actually put out content every week, like on a regular basis. Right. But I'm telling you right now, all those podcasts that came out during the pandemic and probably still exist right now are white dudes who just want everyone to hear their very important opinion.
And they talk like this because they're a podcaster.
Everybody's really stupid, and everybody's so dumb, and everybody's this, and I'm so fucking brilliant, and it's the fucking so lamest, most boring shit I've ever fucking heard. Nobody cares about your opinion. You really know it. You know that.
I'm a podcaster.
Yes, and everybody's got to hear. the media is terrible and I'm a genius. No, you're not. Can
we do a podcast where we talk like podcasters the whole time?
Yeah. Isn't it so much better than how we really talk, Tina? This reductive fucking dumb shit that I work at a grocery store, but now I'm Alex Jones at night in my basement. No.
Nothing wrong with working at a grocery store.
No, but also, listen, I work at a regular job too, but I'm not sitting here trying to be fucking Barbara Walters.
Yes.
I know who I am. Okay? I got it. But don't fucking sit here as another white dude in the Midwest with your boring fucking no opinion, uninformed, just absolutely ridiculous. Nobody gives a fuck.
It's like, it's so white.
It's so white.
It's Wonder Bread white. Like, it is Wonder Bread
and it goes nowhere. It's really just sitting there with no plan, no agenda. It's just spewing bullshit.
Yeah.
And when we were thinking about making a podcast, we went back and forth for a good few weeks, maybe a month, going, well, what the fuck would we do? Like, what would we do? What would we talk about? How would it go? And put work into actually planning what it would sound like. Yes. What would we talk about?
Yes.
How would it go?
And we research every week.
Yeah.
And
this is a well-informed, highly left-leaning opinions.
Right, which is
about things that we read in the actual news.
Yes.
And have boots on the fucking ground when we talk about politics. We're getting an award as community leaders.
Hi.
We know what the fuck is really happening. Yeah. And have opinions based on facts.
Right.
We're not two Karen white women trying to scream about bullshit.
Right, or who just randomly come on and just talk. Like, we have our issues for the week, and typically it's what's happening current event political wise, like in our area or sometimes nationwide. And then we have our stories. But I would never presume, I don't know, to talk about things I don't.
It goes nowhere. There's no plan. There's no plan. And if that's your podcast, it's not a podcast.
Ooh,
it's you talking to yourself in a mirror.
Today.
It's you talking to yourself in your car. Listen, I talk to myself in my car all the time when I'm driving. I don't put a microphone in front of me so that everybody in the world is dying to hear what I have to say.
Yeah, we're not you're not privy to all of our thoughts, okay?
Yeah, could you imagine the darkness that you would hear on this podcast?
Oh my God.
If you got to really hear how I felt about things.
Oh my God. All right, so I have a couple more things.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm just so tired of these white men who think they can say whatever they want and take whatever they want.
Right.
Especially when it's another person's private body.
Rights. They're rights.
They're putting fear, instilling fear in them for the rest of their life. Yeah, and their body autonomy.
All right, so a couple other interesting points. Boise State Public Radio noted that von Eilinger changed his name from Aaron Anson Eilinger to Aaron Anson von Eilinger in 2017 when he was still a student at the University of Alabama. And some people think that it may have been to hide those past criminal charges, but he says that idea is just plain ridiculous.
Okay.
I'm not so sure. It's just an odd thing. Like, why suddenly change your name? Because he had to maybe be thinking, like, he's on a trajectory. He's going to, social media's out there, and I want my career, which I get. He wants to kind of wipe the slate. The Guardian reported, and I thought this was interesting. We touched on it a little bit earlier when you were talking about rape victims. The Guardian reported on this case and noted that it was a rare victory for rape victims, as in the U.S., only 5% of reported sexual assaults result in arrest, and just 2.8% of those result in conviction.
Oh my God.
5%.
Holy shit!
Can you?
This is insane!
It's insane.
That is insane!
It's insane.
Because women are not believed ever. We are not valued. We are not trusted. We are not protected. You motherfuckers!
And the trauma that the women have to go through
to actually do it. To report it.
And what happened to poor Jane Doe during this? Like, her name is Jane Doe, right? Obviously, that's the alias. They're protecting her identity because we want to protect victims and not re-traumatize them.
And it could be a highly publicized case.
And guess what happens?
Oh.
So, according to Alexander Duggan's article for the Idaho County Free Press, Jane Doe was allegedly followed out after her testimony. And folks started taking photos and videos of her despite being told that she needs to remain anonymous to protect her safety. And then allegedly, she was doxxed online afterwards as well, with her name and face posted. And
God!
Yeah.
So what? To protect this guy?
To protect this
That you're doing it for him? What is your allegiance to this person? What is your allegiance to him?
He's a Republican male, and that, we got
this
to protect him.
Motherfucker! For what reason? Don't you have any fucking respect for human beings?
They don't. And the best part about this, the news outlets that were putting this stuff out, they were conservative news outlets. And it's so funny to me that it's the conservative news outlets that claim that they love this country and that they're religious, God-fearing folks, and they're the ones that cause the most harm to innocent people. They're harming this young girl who, if she's a legislative aide, I'm assuming that she was a Republican as well. She's working for him. Right? But she's a woman.
Yes.
And you see the Alex Joneses, you see all these people, and the Tucker Carlsons, who they spew this hatred. And I don't understand it. I don't understand how people viewing this don't go, God, this guy is so hateful, or God, he's so angry. Or they're just these angry white people, and there's no, like, I don't know.
Or they don't have the respect.
I don't see the forgiveness and all the things that your religion is supposed to convey. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Or even having the respect for the judge who made this edict.
Yes.
To not cross the line.
And protect this person.
And expose this victim. That is what the judge asked of them. That's what the judge in the case said. You're not respecting the legal system here.
No,
and
but they don't have a respect for the legal system. They only want their way. What they believe is law and order. What they believe is justice. It's insanity to me. This is a young girl.
I'm fucking sick over this.
This is a young girl who now had to live in fear already. She's clearly traumatized just hearing some of the testimony.
She probably had to leave the area, to be honest with you. I mean, I'd imagine she'd have to fucking hightail it out of there.
And now what? Now people are gonna go online and
this poor woman
and find her, and now you gotta be in your house scared if some jerk's gonna come because they don't like that you went up against this Von Eilinger guy.
God bless her.
Oh my God!
I hope she's finding peace. This is just
this is
one story.
So upsetting.
Of many. 5% report and 2.8%
2.8
are found guilty.
Yeah. Well, 5% result in arrest. Right, and then a little more than half of that end up in actual.
It shouldn't be this hard to
conviction.
Prove
and then
this.
What are these convictions? Right, some of these convictions are like 3 years,
probation,
or 4 years, or probation, or who knows what.
They're fucking bullshit.
Oh,
and then they don't give us justice in the justice system, right? They make it almost impossible to arrest and convict of somebody, and then they want to tell you
that you have to have your baby.
Even if it's a result of rape or incest, you get pregnant.
Yeah,
you're gonna be forced to carry that baby. They take that fucking right away from you too. How in the fuck are we not burning this fucking country to the ground? How are we not lighting it on fucking fire? You motherfuckers have fucking put chains on every single woman and girl and anyone with a uterus, and you give us no retribution. There's no fucking justice here.
There's no justice.
You have failed us as human beings. And you have mothers, and I know it doesn't matter if you have mothers, daughters, sisters, but you have these people in your fucking lives. You're married, you have wives. Do you not give a fuck about people?
But because you know what? Here's the thing. When it comes to rape and sexual assault, we know that a lot of times it's someone that you know. Like, very rarely is it sort of, you're walking down the street and something happens, right? A lot of times it's someone that you know, or it's a date
boss.
rape, or it's a boss, or whatever. It's someone maybe maybe on the fringes of your circle, like a lot of the time. And there's, I think, this idea that somehow a woman can get herself out of it, or why were you alone with him? Why did you go there? Why did you do, the questions always come towards the victim instead of towards the person. Instead of, why are you following her? Why aren't you leaving her alone? Why aren't the questions directed to men? They're still always directed to women in these cases.
We have to defend this thing
all of the time.
To defend ourselves after we've already been the most violated.
forward?
The most violated you could ever imagine. The most violated. Yeah,
and
nobody.
How do you prove it? That's the thing. How do you prove it?
It's not my fucking job to prove it. It's your job, police.
Oh my God. But that's the story. I'm sorry.
Oh God, Tina.
But
some fucking birthday party.
I know. Recent case, and I saw it, and I was like, I gotta do this, and it's just.
I knew the Georgia going to Georgia. Idaho thing. I knew that there was a guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's come home from vacation, had a little vacay, but now he's in jail, and he's appealing, and let's hope that these appeals don't go through, and that he at least is sitting there for 8 years. You know.
You know why I think people don't care about rape victims or whatever, or like men in these positions. I think that they don't think sex is a big deal. Like I think that they're like, so what's the big deal? It was sex, right? Like I think that's probably part of it. It's just like, well, what's the big deal? I don't think they understand that
the violation of it.
And there's a thing about, first of all, when you're fighting it off, right? You're fighting this person, right? Because you don't want this, and then. There is so much that I don't know. I don't even care if it's TMI. Go fuck yourself. Something's going inside of our bodies, and I can't describe to you. Yeah, I can't describe to you what that feels like. Obviously, if you don't have a vagina, but it is. You're accepting something inside of your body, and if you don't want that inside of your body, and you're trying to fight that from happening, and it happens anyway. It is beyond. A violation. You are. I don't even know how to describe it. It's what? It's more than violation. It's you're taking from us.
Yes.
You're taking.
Oh my God.
I can't even. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. But it's why, and also why do I have to say it?
No.
Why would I have to say that if somebody doesn't want you?
If they don't even want you to touch them
and force that, why are
don't touch them?
Why is that? Why do we have to explain to you why we were there and what we were wearing?
Right.
The answer was no.
And and like these men getting angry for being rejected. Like, oh wow, people get rejected all the time. You
know what movie I went to see is Don't Worry, Darling. It is so fucking good, and it turned in a direction that I wasn't expecting. And I don't know if you know who Jordan Peterson is, but he's a complete fucking lunatic. And he's like an incel king. And he loves to talk about, how things should be better the way that they were. Like almost like a Make America Great Again, but women should be in their place and men should be dominant.
And the guy, I think I know who this guy is.
Pine,
and he's like an online dude.
He's a Canadian.
I know who you're talking about.
Chris Pine's character in the movie was based on him.
That guy's an asshole.
Jordan Peterson was crying at the fact that this character was based. He doesn't understand that he's a fucking incel kid.
He's a monster.
So
this idea of like that women's purpose is just to serve their man and to be in that kitchen and do all the wifely duties and be obedient.
This movie's fucked. It fucked me up. I was like, holy, what the hell did I just see? What did I just see?
Give me a break.
Yeah.
And again, I've said it on this podcast. Like, if you, in your heart of hearts, are someone that you want to offer that to the people in your lives, way to go. Do it.
How about it?
It's that expectation. Once you are expected because your gender, right, happens to be something, then that's not acceptable, right? It's not acceptable. If you're doing it because you really want to do it, like I love baking, right? But if I had to bake because, like, my husband expected to have fresh bread on the table every week or whatever the hell it was, like, that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
You got to do it out of the love of wanting to do something and not because you think you have to do it because of either your...
A gender norm thing.
A gender norm. And it's hard, like, as growing up as an Italian, it was very hard. There was a lot of expectations, and and there's some things that are hard for me to break out of.
Yeah.
But... man, no one's going to tell me to bake a cookie if I don't want to.
But here's the thing. If you're a dude and you have zero social skills and you don't know how to talk to women and you keep getting rejected over and over again, it's not the women's fault. It's not. You have to figure that out. You have to figure it out. You have to figure out what's going on with you. Maybe go to therapy.
Go to therapy.
Work it out. Figure out. You got to learn how to talk to women. If you've been socially, like, your social life is online playing video games, like, you need to break out of that. It's not the woman's fault they don't want to touch your dick. It's not our fault.
But there's going to be some sweet little gamer girl that loves that.
Yeah, find it. Go on a dating site and say, I want to find somebody who I can just play video games with. You will find it. There is a pod for every motherfucking lid.
There is.
Just go find it. But don't blame women.
Don't blame
women. It's not our fault.
And
we're not looking for, there's this idea like women are looking for multimillionaires and they just want a guy who looks good and goes to the gym. Nuh-uh. I like nerds, honey. Yeah. I'm here for nerds. I'm here for it. I think just have a normal personality and don't expect that just because you're a dude and I'm a girl that I want to F you. That's not how it goes.
And the other thing that is troublesome, I guess, in the male-female dynamic or relationship dynamics or is the control sometimes that men feel like they have to have over women, because again, like, a lot of assaults sometimes happen within relationships, and men, like, I remember dating someone, and he was like, we were out somewhere, and I don't know, we were out, and like somebody walked by and was like, hi, and I smiled and I said hi, and he was like, you smile too much. He was like, you smile too much. You have to stop smiling because everybody looks at you all the time and all you do is smile and you're bringing attention onto yourself.
Girl, please.
And I was like, but that's just like me. Like, that's who I am. Like, I can't walk around and like, I'm just like a social. Like, I'm not hitting on people.
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay, this is not a good relationship, but it was like that idea of control. Like, you smile too much, or why are you wearing that? Or look at how you're looking, and it's like, women are, why do we have to change the way we are in the world because either your partner's worried about something or other men think that somehow you're asking for something because you're just who you are? It's like it's so frustrating in every aspect of being a woman sometimes. And I don't think people realize. And then as girls are, and growing up, what are the things that they hear? What are the things and how that they're supposed to act? And like, these dynamics are still there about how girls are supposed to act.
Of course.
And how girls are labeled if they are, flirty or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just these labels are still sticking to women and making girls feel bad and not being able to, like, have ownership of their sexuality because there's all these stigmas about how someone may perceive you. And it's not healthy. No. It's not healthy for any of us.
We just want to exist like y'all do.
Yes.
That's all we want to do. We want to move through the world without being harassed. We want to move through the world without our bodies being violated. We want to move through the world and be able to make our own healthcare decisions without the government being involved. We just want to exist. We want to love. We want to have families. We want to have homes. We want to.
Yes,
we just want the same things
we want to be ourselves. We don't want to be judged for every move that we make.
And some of us want to do it with you guys. Some women want to do it with other women, but like some of us want to do it with you. But you got to be cool, man. You got to be cool.
Be cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's our PSA for the day.
Yeah, be cool. And again, happy birthday to my lovely friend. Oh my God, I love you so much.
I love you.
And I'm so excited for your birthday. Oh. And we're about to go to brunch and have a good time at drag.
Ooh,
what drag brunch?
I can't wait.
And it's a whole week of celebrating.
No, it's
next week we get to celebrate our award.
Oh my God.
And your birthday with karaoke.
Oh my God, it's going to be so much fun. I got to get my song list going. I got to think of songs.
I've got some songs.
Yes.
All right, so wait, let me see if I can play one more. Let's play us out with, how about this one? All right, hold on, wait, one more. Yay!
All right, please, if you are so inclined and you want to hear more of our content, check us out on Patreon. We have different levels that you can pay and get exclusive, fun content that, it's not true crimey, but it's fun.
It's very fun.
And follow us on socials, and please tell a friend. The more that you guys spread the word about the pod, the better it is for us to get out there in the world. So thank you.
Thank you. Have a good week. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.